Okay. So good morning, good Sunday morning, December 18th. I guess we are exactly 1 week away from Christmas and 2 weeks away from the new year. So that could mean something or nothing. I guess it all just depends on each individual, but we are definitely coming to a period of endings, whether it's the ending of the month, the ending of the year, which also symbolizes the opportunity to embrace endings and step into new beginnings. That is also something that I share throughout my yoga practice and when I am teaching, that there is a circle of life. And so for every ending, depending on how we view it, it is the opportunity to step into a new beginning. And sometimes those endings are welcomed and they are joyful. And then other times there are unexpected endings. And so we should honor whatever feelings or emotions we may have around the unexpected endings, but not stay there. And so when an unexpected ending comes, again, it's an opportunity to accept what is, to be present in the moment, and then to shift our thinking, our focus, our hearts, our mind toward this opportunity for a new beginning. So this morning, I'm going to read again from the Yamas and Niyamas by Deborah Adele. Um, I've read from this twice, and like I mentioned, the Yamas and Niyamas are the ethical principles that we as yogis or students of yoga philosophy that we are that we study. And so the yamas are how we engage outwardly with the world. And oftentimes, well, not oftentimes, but this applies to how we walk through life, but also how we show up as yoga instructors. And so it's important that we understand what our role is. I think, as with anything in life, you can have individuals that are in position and don't fully understand their role. And so, as a yoga instructor, my role, very much so in the same way that my role is with this meditation practice. And meditation is a form of yoga. So, the asanas are the physical practice, but so when I'm instructing the physical practice as well as when I'm doing these meditations, my role is to hold space, period. I offer suggestions, but ultimately in this type of practice, you have to do what feels good in your body. So when I say you may close your eyes, if closing your eyes is not comfortable, do not close your eyes. But I have to understand, as someone that is guiding this space, the words that I use, the language that I use is important to allow those that are in this space with me, as well as when I'm facilitating yoga, to make the choice that best suits their life, where they are at that moment. Where you are today may be different than where you are tomorrow. Where you are right now is different from where you will be an hour from now. And so it's having the awareness of what your mind, body, and spirit needs moment by moment and honoring that without question, without wavering. And so never dishonoring your body, your intuition center, your internal GPS, your gut, your spirit. And so the yamas and niyamas are some principles that help remind us as yogis where we need to stand. And so, like I said, the yamas are how we engage with the external world. The Niyamas are how we engage internally. So today I'm going to read one of the Yamas, which is called Brahmacharya, and it is the principle of non-excess. And so the book says, in the dark and muck, a golden lotus blossoms. God's grace awaits us. And if you know me, you have heard me say, no mud, no lotus. I have a shirt that says no mud, no lotus. I have a tattoo that says no mud, no lotus. I have no mud, no lotus stenciled on my bedroom wall. And basically what that means is the lotus flower is a very beautiful flower. My tattoo is not easily accessible. Otherwise, I would show you guys, but it's on the back of my arm. But it's a very beautiful, beautiful flower, and it grows in mud. And so that concept just teaches us that it is sometimes in the dark, mucky, muddy places that beauty blossoms. And there are all sorts of, examples of that. Pressure creates diamonds, and the pressing of the olives create the oil, and with no mud, no lotus. So Brahmacharya has been interpreted by many to mean celibacy or abstinence. And although this could certainly be one form that Brahmacharya takes, its implications are much more broad. It does, however, imply dealing with the passion of our sexuality as well as our other desires in a manner that is sacred and life-giving rather than excessive. So really what Brahmacharya is saying is there is a threshold there's a line of when we have had just enough of something and when we cross into excess. And she mentions here the concept of celibacy and abstinence because early on, yoga was practiced by the Buddhists, and they would be, they would take a vow of celibacy. And so that term brahmacharya got connected to that. But in this day and age, there are many other ways in which we can exercise discipline so that we are not being excessive. Brahmacharya reminds us to enter each day and each action with a sense of holiness rather than indulgence. We need to tame our overindulgence. And we definitely have had a spirit energy culture of overindulgence, specifically in the United States. It'll be interesting to see how things pan out over the next few years because I feel like the pandemic has shifted. I personally feel that it has shifted just the trajectory of our world, but how you deal with overindulgence. Because when there was nothing, we had a prime example of overindulgence. This seems so long ago, but when people were losing their mind over toilet paper. And it's like you can only go to the bathroom and you can only use but so much toilet paper at one time. But that was a perfect example of overindulgence or hoarding or not taking just enough, knowing that use what you have, and by leaving some, you make sure that everyone collectively has what they need, and then you can go back and get more. But if everyone is hoarding and taking, and then going to the other extreme of hoarding, taking at regular prices, and then choosing to price gouge and sell is not being mindful, is not going to the point of just enough. And so in yogic thought, there is a moment in time when we reach the perfect limit of what we are engaged in. So anything that we're doing, there is a moment where you have reached the perfect limit. And in that moment it is considered just enough. And that's what we need to recognize in our lives as we move through our lives. When have we reached a moment of just enough? And this, can apply to outward things, like I shared about the purchase of the toilet paper and the craziness with the pandemic, but also how we eat, how we interact with those in our lives. Are we going to a place of excess, or do we stop at just enough? Do we enjoy a moment and then release it at just enough? And it's a practice. And so it is dealing with urges and, in some instances, it can be dealing with addictions, addictive behavior, just needing to have more and do and do. And that shows up outwardly, but it's understanding that that pull, that tug is an internal thing. It's a mindset thing. It's a psyche thing when you keep going. When you think of gambling, a gambling addiction, it's that internal um, draw and revving up that gets people caught up in what shows up externally as the addiction. So brahmacharya just challenges us to identify when we have reached that moment of just enough. And again, to bring that back to our meditation practice, to bring that back to the way that you are able to hear signals and messages from your body, is when you have a practice that allows yourself to quiet your mind, quiet the excessive thoughts that tell you, no, go further, keep going. This is not enough. Don't stop yet. You need more. Do more. Do more. One of the readings from the other day from Acts of Faith talked about the doing, the doing, the doing. Do more, push more, try more. It's never enough. You haven't done enough. That's excessive. That is excessive overthinking, overdoing, and your meditation practice, your shifting of your mindset, you're being able to calm the thoughts, the noises, the energy in your body is what will get you to a space of being able to be at just enough, identifying it, and going no further. Okay? So, December 18th, acts of faith. Giving and receiving are one in truth, and that came from A Course of Miracles. There's only one mind, the mind of the Creator. Each living being is an idea in divine mind. We are not separate we are not separate as it seems. We are linked through the mighty power of breath. Since we are one, you cannot give anything away. You can only give to yourself. Whatever you give, whatever you do, you are giving and doing to an expression of the one mind. If you give good, you will receive good. If you do harm, you will feel its effects. If you understand the concept of divine mind, we know there is no such thing as stealing from anyone. You can only take away from yourself. Do y'all get that connection to what I just said about brahmacharya? It's when the synchronicities, as it's when it lines up for me, that even for me, sometimes I'm like, geez, like how did it sync up? When we do things in excess, when we are hoarding, when we are not mindful, we are only doing that to ourselves. When we do that to the collective, when we do that to our neighbor, we're doing it to ourselves. Okay? You can only take away from yourself. Whether the guilt, shame, or fear cause the pain, you will take away from yourself that which you believe you are taking from another. When you give, you receive. When you receive, it is a reflection of what you give. Since we are all one in divine mind, we should make a commitment to always give the best. Today, I will give lovingly and freely to myself. Reflection. How will you give yourself the very best of everything available today? Okay. So I hope those two resonated. The understanding that we are a collective. We are our sister's keeper. We are our sister. We are our neighbor. And so the work that we do on ourselves, our ability, again, just always trying to bring it back to how you take this meditation from 8 a.m. and carry it into your life. Each of you will come in contact with someone today, your family, your children, your parents, your neighbors, someone at the store, and how you choose to show up moment to moment, how you choose to show up in positive exchanges or negative exchanges or less than positive exchanges will then be a ripple effect. And it is the idea that we cast a stone into the water and we have no idea how far out that ripple goes. And so the practice, yes, is for we're doing it for our experience. But ultimately, our spiritual growth, our experience, our practice impacts the world in which we share with each other. So I hope that resonated. It did for me this Sunday morning. Before we meditate, are there any questions about brahmacharya, or did that make sense? This is one time where I will pause before we meditate, or if y'all just want to give me a little thumbs up that brahmacharya, non-excessiveness, that reading made sense. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take that as okay. All right, so let's meditate. This morning we're gonna meditate to a slightly different, I guess it's not really a song, it's actually a meditative, I guess you can call it a song, but it is called I Am Loving Awareness. And it is meditative. It's meditative music is the word that I was looking for. And so I welcome you to just center yourself and open your heart, open your mind to this experience this Sunday morning, and find your way into your seat, comfortable seat. If you are sitting in the chair, place your feet flat on the ground. Maybe take any last stretches or kinks that you need to get out so that you can settle in. You can close your eyes or lower your gaze. You can place your hands on your lap. You can rest palms down if you need grounding this morning, palms up if you are in a space to receive. And just allow your body to settle. And let's meditate. Remember, if your thoughts get overactive, because they will come, and when they come, you simply let them go. But if they get overactive, take your focus back to your breath. And remember, the inhale fills us up, but it's the nice, slow exhale that slows our body, slows our mind. So if your thoughts start to rev up, I invite you to slow down your exhales. Okay? And let's meditate.
We have to get out of our minds. Our thinking minds.
Let your body get heavy.
I'll tell you how I do it. By using a mantra, a phrase. I am loving awareness. 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 Huh? I'm loving awareness. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness.
Release any tension in your shoulders, your jaw, the space between your eyebrows.
I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. Loving awareness is a name for a soul, which you really are. Leads you to love everything you are aware of. The sky, the room, your body, other people. And then I ride the mantra into my heart. And in my heart, I see a doorway or a veil to the next plane. So that I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. I am loving
So slowly begin to bring your awareness back into this space. You can wiggle your fingers, flutter your eyelids, and when you're ready, open your eyes and bring your hands to heart center if that's in your practice. I'm grateful for each of you in this space that we have cultivated together. It is my honor to guide you through this meditation, but it has also been a blessing for my spirit and my practice to have this consistent space for me to come to as well. So I express gratitude for each of you and your showing up. I really appreciate it. You can bring your hands to the space between your eyebrows, your third eye center. The light in me sees, honors, and appreciates the loving, beautiful light in each of you. Ashe, Amen, Hallelujah, Namaste.